You're listening to the Zone Coverage Football Show, where opinions, passion, and pride are always on the line. Live from Teese Towers, here's your host, Mark Teese.
Hello, and welcome along, Pigskin fans. It is Sunday, the 10th of May, 2015. How the hell is everyone? Episode 40. Can you believe you lot have had to put up with my nonsense for 40 whole episodes? Well, hello, welcome along, and I do hope you are enjoying a nice, relaxing Sunday. Got an interesting show today. I caught up with a chap called Dennis Moss. He's doing the Wrong Shaped Balls tour, so I got an interview with him. I'm going to leak to you in a moment, but as we have to do at the top of the show, we'll get the pleasantries out of the way and inform some of the new guys. If you are new listeners to the show, welcome aboard, and here are your options for listening live. We already have someone ahead of his time here. John Cartwright is in the Spreaker app, and talking of the Spreaker app, it's probably one of the best ways you can listen to the show. Just head over to Spreaker.com, download the app. It's all free, there's no charge, got a Facebook page, easy sign up, it's dead simple. Look for Zone Coverage Football Show, jump in the chat room while the show's live, and you can even comment once the show's done and dusted. So John Cartwright is in the chat room at the moment, so is John McDonald, and they are on about the sad news of Dante Fowler Jr., who's out for the Jags with a torn ACL. We will get to that in a moment, so head over to Spreaker.com, Zone Coverage Football Show, download the app. It's on iPhones, Android, you can listen on your desktop, all that sort of stuff. Robert's in the chat room as well, so afternoon chaps. Right then, what do I have for you guys coming up today? In a minute, let me tell you about the other live option. It is, you can listen via TuneIn as well. You can find us on the TuneIn app. And of course, once again, Zone Coverage Football Show is brought to you by DynastySportsEmpire.com. Whether it's NFL, NBA, NHL or baseball, DynastySports.com has you covered. Visit them online at Dynasty Sports Empire today or Twitter at DCSE_football to join a startup fantasy league. Right then, if you're listening back via a, what's it called now, podcast form, few people do podcast form, iTunes, Stitcher, again, ratings and all that sort of stuff is very, very much appreciated. Matt, our draft expert, is in the chat room. Again, all political honours. So welcome aboard, Matt. And we had some banter before the show started. Checking in on Twitter at Zone Coverage FS. Will Davis says, afternoon, off the back of the Collins signings, to what extent did the Cowboys have the best draft? That's an interesting question. We'll put that out there. Cowboys had a decent draft, took a lot of risks in my eyes. Matt's probably the best person to answer that one. So Matt's in the chat room, so get them questions going. Right then, what do we have? Well, there's a lot going on this week. There's a lot about this deflate-gte, Tom Brady. I'm going to have a little bit of rant about that in a moment because I think it's absolute utter nonsense. I think it's been absolutely blown way, way out of proportion, and banning Tom Brady for me would not be a good thing. Here's why. Bear with me. Yes, whatever, there's so many pounds per square inch, not in the football. Someone sneaked in where the refs keep the balls, deflated them, blah, de, blah, de, blah. We've had this Ted Wells investigation where he said, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. In all probability, he had something to do with it. Whatever. Ban him, crazy. I'm not bothered. Do you know what annoys me? If they ban Tom Brady, I do not want my Jets to win the AFC East. And why? Because everyone will be saying you only won it because Brady wasn't there. We'll have a little asterisk by the side of winning the AFC East this year, possibly. Like everyone's trying to put a little asterisk on Tom Brady's Super Bowl. I think it's nonsense. I do. It's a little bit of air gone out of a ball, blown way out of proportion. He's probably going to get screwed over because he hasn't handed his emails over and his phone over. That's really what they're going to hammer him for. And to be honest, would you hand over your mobile and your emails if you were married to a supermodel? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't hand over my phone now married to my fantastic, gorgeous wife. But you just wouldn't do it. So I can see from what he's coming from, everyone just needs to chill out on this matter. It's just whatever it is. If he gets banned, he gets banned. But it's annoying me. It really, really is annoying me. It's been forced down the throats. Social media is just kicking up a stink like it likes to do. Jets fans, I've seen them falling over themselves that Brady's going to get banned, think it's fantastic, same old cheats and all that. For me, sick to death of it. What do you guys think? Phone lines are open. We do have a new phone number. So the old 0161 number had been scrapped. And you know why? Because I'm going leaps and bounds to help you guys out. Right, it's a mobile number now. It's on one of the big networks. So if you've got inclusive minutes, inclusive texts, you can hit me up. It's going to just come out your minutes, so technically it's free. The number is 07 444 048 266. And someone just randomly text me, see if it works, by the way, because I've not even tried this out. So that's 07 444 048 266. It is on the Twitter profile at Zone Coverage FS as well. So, just get that in. To try that out, that's the number, 07 444 048 266. We are still on Skype at TeeceMister, T-E-E-C-E, Mister. So, that is that. I've had me rant about the deflate-gte sort of thing, and I'm probably going to have a little rant about LeSean McCoy's comments earlier in the week. You know what? Let's get to that. LeSean McCoy, just shut up. What he is like, he's become just a big baby, ain't he, LeSean McCoy? Going on, he's like one of, them annoying friends that you've got on Facebook and Twitter that just like tweet out sympathy things. Oh, I'm having such a bad day. Woe is me. Everyone feel for me. LeSean McCoy's comments about Chip Kelly getting rid of the really good black players. I mean, come on, LeSean McCoy. What are you doing? You're proving to the world why Chip Kelly got rid of you. You're just a moaning pain in the rear end. Yes, you're very, very talented. I'd love you on my team, but you are a headache, and you are proving this the more and more you open your mouth. Chip Kelly getting rid of the really good black players. Okay, then. So this off-season, signed DeMarco Murray, signed Byron Maxwell, signed Brandon Graham, signed Walter Furman. LeSean, what colour is the skin of those guys? Yes, that'd be correct. It'd be black. So McCoy, wind your neck in, move on, and get over the fact that Chip Kelly thinks you're a bit of an idiot. There, I've said it. It needs to be said. Right. I feel that that's sort of out of the way now. I can move on with the show. And it's a fantastic show, I do hope, that we've got lined up for you today. One last little rant. It's a rant. Oh, we have a message. The first ever map. Can't work out texting. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Martin from NFL Dundee. He's trying to get the chat room Spreaker app working. Martin, just go to Spreaker.com and then press listen, and then it should just come up in the chat room. So he's trying to get it working, but he can't. But he asked this question on text. Our first ever text to the show comes from Martin. Who's going to be the best fantasy rookie? And off he is. He's off to try and get back in that chat room. So that is from Martin at Dundee NFL. Who's going to be the best NFL rookie fantasy-wise this season? Back to my original rant. Quite a ranty opening. NFL Shop Europe. Everyone detests NFL Shop Europe. They don't have the jerseys in you want. And I was moaning last week that you couldn't get the certain picks. If I wanted Leonard Williams jersey, guess what? It's not in the NFL Shop Europe. But you can get a Tim Tebow Eagles jersey. My word, crazy, absolute crazy. So I had a bit of a conversation with the guys at NFL Europe via Twitter. I posted a tweet the other day. And in regards to the draft jerseys, they said that they went with the top 5 and they spoke to their merchandising department last Friday. And they've raised the issue and they're going to review the demand. And basically what you've got to do with NFL Shop Europe, it's at NFL Shop Europe on Twitter, is keep tweeting at them. I was retweeting this out. And the more tweets that at NFL Shop Europe get, the more they're likely to do to it. The person I was talking to via DM on Twitter, they got back to me and said, we're taking it to someone on Tuesday. And then they messaged me in the week and saying, look, we've not forgot about the issue, but we need more tweets. So the more sort of issues and stuff that you've got with the NFL Shop Europe, tweet at them. Obviously, if you want to be angry, just word it correctly. Don't go swearing and cursing at them. But please, this is the only way we can get them to improve the stock. The more they sort of get out, the better the better we can get the store updated for everyone. Right then, I've said the phone lines are open. The number again, 07444 048 266. Going to quick look in the chat room. What's going on in here today, guys? On about who's had the best draft. Robert says that he thinks that the Falcons have had a good draft. John Cartwright. Text question that I read out, best fantasy rookie. John Cartwright's going with Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's got some damn good weapons to be throwing the ball up to. Mike Evans, Austin Severian Jenkins there as well. What about Todd Gurley? If he comes back, could he have a good run? I know that O-line isn't the best. They'd be running behind. Martin's made it to the chat room. Got in. He says he doesn't think it'll be Jameis Winston. However, Amari Cooper could be straight in there. Not Amari Cooper, White, who went to the Bears. Jay Cutler have a bounce-back season. How about that? Yes, we'll go for that one then. Jumping then from the Spreaker app, which Martin's now navigated. See, it's simple. Nothing bad about Martin, but if Martin can get into the Spreaker app, you guys can. So that's Spreaker.com and just sign up there. Straight then to Twitter. John Bradshaw. It's the feel-good story of the off-season. I had missed what I was on. Oh, yes. On about the Cowboys, in reference to the Cowboys having a decent draft. So, right then, that is sort of Twitter. If you want to tweet into the show, you can do at Zone Coverage at Zone Coverage FS is the Twitter handle. What else do we have? I think I've ranted for like 11, 12 minutes now. It's not good. Not good. It's not good to start that like that. Also, as well, one last thing as well, as we've got a new number now. You can also find the show on, what's it called? SoundCloud. We're on SoundCloud as well. Right then, I'm going to jump in the chat room in a moment. So I'm going to play the interview that I had with Dennis Moss. I recorded this on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Dennis said he's planning an epic journey to take in all 31 NFL stadiums during the upcoming season. During this journey, he's going to be raising money for charity along the way. His website is www.thewrongshapedbulls.com. So he's also on Twitter at Azboden. It's at AZBODEN. So that's AZBODEN. So hit up Dennis there, any sort of questions and stuff like that. Later on, once we've listened to the interview with Dennis, I'm going to go over the news from the last 7 days, going to roll out a week in words. Plus, I'm going to tell you guys about what's happening with the show schedule going forward. I'm going to do a couple of broadcasts towards the end of this month. Then I'm going off on holiday, so I'm probably going to take the entirety of June off. But I'm becoming back bigger, better and stronger. Don't you worry about that. So we'll get to that in a moment. So for the time being, I'm going to drop in the chat room. Having talked to you guys, so that's going to be good fun because there's plenty going on in there at the moment. Also on Twitter as well, at Zone Coverage FS. Keep the text coming in. The phone lines I'm going to sort of jot for the moment. Not that I'm getting snowed under by phone calls, but if you want to text during the next 25 minutes, feel free to do so. That's 07444 048 266. So guys, just sit back and enjoy this interview we had, and I'll be over in the chat room. So here we go. Enjoy. Joining me today on the Zone Coverage Football Show is Dennis Moss. Dennis is planning to visit all 31 NFL stadium this season. Dennis, welcome along to Zone Coverage Football Show.
Thanks, Mark. Many thanks for inviting me on your show.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm intrigued by this. 31 stadiums within the NFL season. We spoke briefly before we jumped to pressing that record button. How is that coming along? What's the sort of going on there with the schedule-wise?
Right, I've been planning this now for about 3 to 6 months. I was looking forward to the schedule coming out when it did on April 17th, I think. And I was expecting to have this the route tied up within a day or two, but I'm still struggling because it's so difficult to find the route that's going to get me to every stadium within the regular season. It's kind of looking like now I may have to add the playoffs as well just to get the last couple of grounds in, because it's become really, really difficult to find the route that I can get to all of those 31 stadiums. So, to be honest, I'm struggling. I need help.
That's good. Adding the playoffs is just a perfect excuse to stay out even longer, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think so. And also, if I'm lucky enough to meet some nice people over there, I may even be able to get myself a ticket to the Super Bowl, with fingers crossed.
Nice. That would be the perfect way to top off this trip. Dennis, you've set up a website where people can follow you and track the ongoings of this trip. It is www.therongshapedballs.com, and people can also hit you up on Twitter at AZBoden, Boden. Is that correct?
That's right. My handle's called Asbo Den, because I used to be in a rock band called Asbo, and I've had that for the last few years.
Ah, brilliant. So we can't really ignore the fact that you used to be in a rock band. You sent me a huge email covering numerous topics, and if you don't mind, just before we jump into the actual premise of your trip, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've mentioned that you've recorded a few songs in Nashville, you've been in a rock band, you're a golf caddy, a racehorse syndicate, you've been in films with Cameron Diaz, and a seasoned traveller. I'm intrigued. The stage is yours.
Right. What I've tried to... my age, I'm in my late 40s now, and about 10 years ago I used to work for an Irish bank, and I got made redundant, and I decided that I wanted a complete career change, and I tried to incorporate everything in my life that I actually enjoy into kind of work. So I'm a keen golfer, so I got myself a job as a golf caddy. I also love racehorses, so I'm in a couple of racehorse syndicates, and one of them's a really good horse called Vibrato Valtat that run in an horse racing called the Arkle, which is in Cheltenham, and he come fourth. He'd then run at Aintree. He ran recently at Sandown, so that's really, really exciting for me. And I'm a massive American football fan. I have been for many, many years, ever since I saw it on Channel 4 in the 80s.
Yeah, that highlights programme that we used to get a tease with every Sunday, wasn't it?
That's right. If I remember rightly, the first person to do it was it Nick Luckhurst, the kicker of the Falcons?
Oh, I can't remember. The mid-80s are kind of blurry. I'm, 34, not to make you feel old or anything, but I vaguely remember the show.
Thanks, Mark.
So, right then, you've done. You said you've been an extra within Mission Impossible 5. How did you get into the film sort of stuff? Then? Obviously, you're a film buff, and that's something you wanted to explore as well. What happened there? How did that come about?
Right, because when I became a golf caddy, it's not really that consistent. For example, when the weather's pretty bad, no one plays golf, so they don't want a golf caddy. And around the time I started becoming a golf caddy, I also just joined a couple of random film extra agencies. And I've just been lucky over the years to be selected for films like, I did one of the Batman films, is it The Dark Knight Rises? I did a film with James Corden a couple of years ago about this opera singer, Paul Potts. The Cameron Diaz film was a film called Gambit. And the last one I did recently was Mission Impossible 5. And again, all I am is somebody in the crowd, so it's not exactly, I'm not standing holding on to Tom Cruise's hand, so you're not going to know who I am on the film. You're just going to see me walk past him in the background in a train station, so it's nothing too glamorous, I'm afraid.
I'm curious then, do you all sort of sit round then when the film's done in the cinema, or you're like, "Dude, I'm there." Does that happen?
No, I wish. I'll tell you a funny story for your people listening there, your listeners. If you go to YouTube and you put the final scene of Dark Knight Rises, you'll see half of my face on the screen next to Michael Caine. So there's my claim to fame. Not all of me, just half of me.
Fantastic. I love that. That's brilliant. Right then, we've become sidetracked. I'm just really intrigued and extremely nosy, if I'm honest, Dennis. Right then, you've got 31 football stadium you're trying to get in. You said the planning is an absolute nightmare, so we need some help there. So anyone that can help Dennis plotting this fantastic journey, that's AZ Boden, again on Twitter. So please hit Dennis up on that. The more help we can get Dennis, the better. This charity related, isn't it, Dennis? If you tell us the story why this adventure's come about. Right.
Well, when I actually originally planned the trip, a few months later, I met with just a friend of mine. I used to live in Putney in London, and a really good friend of mine. I was telling him if he could just give me some advice about my trip. And then he said to me, have you ever thought about doing it for charity? And at the time, I must be honest, I didn't. So then I met him a couple of months later, and he asked me how I was getting on. And I said, yeah, it's all good. I'm just getting along slowly on Twitter and Facebook. And he said, I've got some bad news. I've just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And the first thing I said to him is, you've got the wrong shaped balls.
Yeah.
Because he's a good friend of mine, and we had a bit of a joke about this, because he said to me, don't worry, it's okay, they've caught it very early.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, and I was just pleased that he was okay. And straight away when I said the wrong shaped balls, his reply to me was, that should be the name of your tour. So it kind of came from my friend, and he told me a little bit about what's going on with himself, with the prostate thing. And again, just by complete coincidence, one of the girls I used to record within the recording studio, when I told her the story, she said her best friend, or one of her friends, runs the Dallas Prostate Cancer Charity. So it kind of fell into place on its own. It was like it was meant to be. So now I've decided I'm going to try to do raise some funds and awareness for the prostate cancer in Dallas, which is my team, is the Cowboys. And also over here, I'm going to do the same. I want to do a 50-50 thing.
Oh, that's brilliant, Dennis. It's good to hear that your friend's all well and everything as well.
Yep, that is good news.
It's all right then. So we got 31 teams. Where have you started off? Where can fans actually find you? Are you going to be meeting fans, tailgating, that sort of stuff, or what is the actual sort of layout of this?
Absolutely. I want the fans to be a really integral part of the trip. I want people to follow me on my website, which is called therongshapedballs.com. I'm working on that at the moment. I'm not the best person on the computer in the world, but I'm getting this site together, and I'm going to be getting help from other people. Another thing I did want to mention, because I'm a musician, and I did record some songs in Nashville last year, I've written a song which is going to be my soundtrack to the trip, and it's called Like a Touchdown.
I like it.
It's a really catchy song. It's a very kind of John Bon Jovi kind of rock anthem, Like a Touchdown. And it's like the story behind the song is my love for American football, using that as an analogy about being with your partner. You know, crossing the line, you get a touchdown. And if you're with a partner, when you cross the line, the chorus is like it's going to say, your love is taking me higher, like a touchdown. So I'm using the analogy of the feeling that when you score a touchdown, you're like euphoric, is like being with your partner. So
I like where you're going with that. Is there any moments where she's in a bad mood and maybe you get a yellow flag?
That could be in one of the verses, but not in the chorus.
Oh, brilliant. Get that in there. That'll be my claim to fame then. It's not as good as you Batman in YouTube, but I'll take that.
So what I'm looking to do is when people open my website, The Wrong Shaped Balls, I want Like a Touchdown to be playing so people hear that song. And what I'm kind of hoping is that to help me finance this trip, because it's going to be very, very expensive, I'm kind of hoping that the fans that I interact with will maybe buy that song for something like $1.
Yeah.
Just to help me finance my trip, because it's going to cost me an absolute fortune.
Yeah, I dread to think that was one of the questions. How much is this actually going to set you back? Yeah, so sponsorship needed then. Again, www.therongshapedballs.com. And as Bowden on Twitter as well. And
I've been contacting lots of different kind of organisations that are around what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I've been in touch with Channel 4, Sky Sports, travel companies, fans who I'm going to say, for example, when I get to Cincinnati, if there's any fans out there who are following me and they want to put me up for the night or just we go out for a night for a drink, I really want to interact with the fans and maybe even go to some of the games with the fans and even celebrity fans. That's another idea I had, to maybe, for example, go and watch the game against the Eagles with, what's the guy's name? Bradley is a very famous actor.
Bradley Cooper.
That's him, Bradley Cooper. I've been emailing him to say, would you like to watch the Cowboys-Eagles games with me? So that's another angle. So I'm trying to tick every box.
Yeah, have you dropped in that you've met Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise and that?
Well, unfortunately, he hasn't got back to me yet. So
no.
I'll tell him that when he comes back to me.
So what's the sort of plan then? Are you planning on doing like a Thursday, Sunday, Monday game? Are you like flying or driving in between? How are you getting about the US of A?
Well, I think it's going to be a combination of all of those above, because my initial, for example, I'll give you the schedule for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
I was going to go to the first game to see the Patriots play the Steelers in week 1, which is the Thursday. Then I was going to go to the Bills, which is the Sunday game, which is well easily to get to from the Patriots to the Bills. Then I was going to go to Kansas City, which is out of the way, but that's the Monday game.
Yeah.
And Kansas City is a difficult one. It's kind of on its own, so I can get that one out of the way quickly. Then I was going to come back to, say, like New York, then down to Philadelphia.
Right.
So that was the kind of the start that I can do 4 or 5 games within the first 2 weeks. So I'll get up and running with a good kind of tempo. You
did say it in your email as well that you've also contacted the Jacksonville Jaguars. Excuse me, put my teeth back in there. And you've had an interesting conversation there, and I do believe you've landed yourself a seat in the box with someone very special.
Oh, this is fantastic. As you can probably imagine, I'm quite a cheeky chappy. I'm never afraid to ask people for anything. So I had this idea, because I used to live right near the ground at Fulham.
Yeah.
And last year when I lived there, I thought, when I kind of initially thought of this trip, I thought, I'm going to contact Fulham to try to get to the owner. Because I'd like to think I'm quite good with people. When I meet people face to face, more often than not, I can convey a message and try and get back what I'm actually asking for. So I sent a message to Fulham. Never really got too far, but they said to me, just contact the Jacksonville Jags directly. So I did this, and I'd never heard nothing for about a month, and then completely out of the blue, I got an email saying, Mr. Khan, he said, yes, he'd love to meet you. Which game would you like to come and watch? He will put you up in his private box. Honestly, I nearly fell off the chair.
Nice. That'd be fantastic.
Well, what I'm trying to do is now get to him as quickly as I can, because when I meet him, the first thing I'm going to say to him when I get the right moment is, you obviously know all the other guys, the owners. Is there any chance you could pull a few strings for me?
I like where you're going with this one, Dennis. Why not?
Why not? They can only say no.
Well, this is it. And if he does say no, they do have them like pools high up now, so you could also threaten to throw him in there. I don't know how that would go down, but it's worth a chance.
Well, you never know who I'm going to meet on the day, because the one I've got scheduled to see is rather against the Titans or the Texans. And if I'm in a box full of other owners, then I'll say, would it be possible for me to come and watch a game with you guys? Or if not, I'll happily be in the stands with some of your fans, and I'll just be networking all the way through my journey to try and pick up more and more friends along the way.
Now, are you incorporating any of the international games? Are you out to the States and then shooting back over for a Wembley game at all?
No, I don't think so. I think I've got my hands full enough as it is.
I'm making life even harder for you here.
Well, there's only one concern I do have, is with regard to the visa. Because when I was in America last year, I was only allowed to stay for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I had to leave the country. So I've spoken to another guy that I've met on Twitter. It's been a great help. I actually met him for a drink. And he's a guy that did this tour a couple of years ago, but he did tailgating.
Oh, Adam Goldstein.
Yeah, he's a really lovely guy. He's given me a load of help. And he did it a couple of years ago, maybe 2008. And he did about 40 different states, but he drove. And he also came back to London and went back. So, big hands up to him for doing that.
Yeah, we've had Adam on the show. Yeah, his journey was, like you say, very interesting. Once with all the driving and near misses, I hope you don't sort of experience anything along that sort of route, especially with those annoying sat-navs.
Yeah.
They seem to be the bane of his existence on that trip. Right then, Denny, so what sort of else is going to be happening along this journey? You've said that you've recorded your theme tune, Like a Touchdown. You've mentioned that you've into music, been in a rock band before. Are you going to be singing, stopping off and like tailgating along the way? Are you recording any new material as you go? Well,
2 of the plans I did have is, 1, I wanted to spend at least a week in Dallas, because 1, that's my team. 2, that's where the charity is going to be a part of. So I just wanted to kind of make contact around that time. Secondly, I wanted to spend a week in Nashville, because I would like to record 1 more song. And I'm also contacting lots of Nashville musicians. Again, networking to just try and become my friends, and maybe if they can get my songs played on the radio in Nashville. So, and anything really else that happens, it's going to be a really spontaneous trip. I might turn up somewhere like New York and meet someone, an amazing person who's going to help me in any which way. And, I'm a seasoned traveller, and whenever you plan a big trip, you always branch off of your route by meeting someone you like, somebody who can help you. So until I land in the first destination, I really don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing.
It's definitely going to be very interesting following you throughout the course of this journey. I'll be honest with you, Dennis, I am extremely envious. It's something I think many fans will echo the same here. It's all 31 stadium within a year. Within a lifetime, it'd be great, but within a season, that's outstanding.
I know, and I've had so many people on Twitter and Facebook saying the same. And all I can say is, thanks to everybody for their lovely remarks. And I am living the dream, to be honest. And I'm just hoping that it all goes as well as I want it to go. And one thing I never mentioned earlier, which is another thing that I'm over the moon with, I met a guy last year in Nashville who told me that his family is married and related into Jerry Jones's family in Dallas.
Nice.
And he's assured me that if the deal is sealed, I will be meeting Jerry Jones.
That would be interesting.
So, this will be amazing. And if he knows I'm following the Cowboys as much as I can, because I'd like to see the Cowboys play 2 or 3 times if I can, but I just cannot let that overcome my schedule, because if I go off the schedule for the Cowboys, I might not get to the finish line.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's going to be hard. It's like you say, you're going to look at the schedule. The Cowboys are a big Monday night game, and it's like, oh, should I go, shan't I go? And sticking to that schedule, that's going to be tough.
It will be, because there's a couple of games that I'm close to the Cowboys, and I really want to go. And yet, if I do that, then it's going to knock me out a couple more games, and that could be important, because I would really hate to get to 29 stadiums and I'm done. I'd be gutted. So I think the playoffs are definitely going to help me out. But again, it's going to have to take severe planning, because there could be a couple of weeks away that I'm thinking, right, I can wait till Seattle because they're going to make the playoffs. And if they lose 2 games and they don't make the playoffs, I'm done.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to have to get rid of the teams that you think are not that good. So if you're at a stadium in week 1, Dennis thinks your team is not going to the playoffs.
Well, I'll have to get to the Cowboys stadium as quickly as I can.
Right, you've mentioned the Cowboys a few times then, Dennis. How did you fall in love with the Cowboys? You mentioned the Channel 4 programme, so I imagine that sparked your interest. So why the Cowboys then?
It's a combination of being a funny story and quite a boring story, really, because when it came on Channel 4, I'm guessing now the mid to the early 80s, it came on. I'd never seen the NFL before, and I started watching. I quite, kind of liked it. So I thought, if I'm going to be passionate about this game, I need a team. And at that time, I was a big fan of the TV show Dallas.
Oh, yes.
And all these people. So that was kind of the initial thing. And I also saw a program of, there was a Welsh singer. Gosh, what was his name now? There was a Welsh guy, whose name will come to me in a minute, but he had a program on the TV where he met the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought, they seemed like a nice bunch of lads. And then a couple of days after that, the program came on about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Oh, well, that was the selling point.
So that sold the deal. That was it. I saw them and I thought, right, that is my team. And I've followed them ever since. And the funny thing was, at that time, they wasn't one of the better teams. They were pretty poor, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I used to follow them religiously for probably about 3 or 4 years on Channel 4, when we was like winning 2 games a season, and then 3 games the next year, 4 games the next year. So we were still pretty poor. And then Channel 4 lost the franchise. It went to Sky, and this was kind of the Troy Aikman era.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I never saw any of that success on the telly, because I never had Sky.
That's heartbreaking.
So when it came back on Channel 4, the Dallas Cowboys were another mediocre team. So I just continued where I'd left off.
Oh, you've definitely put in the groundwork. You've just not been rewarded just yet.
But you know what it's like, when you support a team, you can't really change. And I'll never change now. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan through and through.
Yeah, I did the same, just to sort of go away from the NFL, but into soccer, football. I'm a Stoke City fan, followed them through the hard times, got into the Premier League. I did the first season thing, then washed my hands of football. And then they go on to like the FA Cup final. I know they didn't win it, but there is that. So I sort of feel your pain with your Cowboys there, Dennis.
Yeah. Well, another little thing as well, again, obviously about my trip. When I was in America last year, I met some people by complete chance. And there's an organisation in America called ArsenalAmerica.com. So these are other people that I know through my travels last time. And every time I'm in a major city like Boston, Nashville, Los Angeles, and I've got a spare day on a Saturday, I will go to a designated bar that all of the Arsenal fans watch the games.
Oh, right, yeah. It's like the EPL, because it's on at ridiculously early in the morning, isn't it? Like 8 o'clock.
It is. And last year I went to Boston, Nashville, and Austin was the third one. And these people are fanatics about Arsenal, even more so than a lot of my Arsenal friends are.
It's all new to them. They're not used to the misery.
Well, do you what's funny? It's like they cheer a corner like we cheer a goal.
Wow, that's frightening.
So when a goal goes in, the bar are up.
Oh dear. Right then, Dennis, I'm trying to. My mind's absolutely blown here. There's just so much stuff going on. Again, this is going to be for the Dallas Prostate Cancer Charity. 31 stadium within the year. We need sponsorship. We need help with planning. So the more help we can get you on Twitter, AZ Bowden. Am I pronouncing that right? I feel that's wrong.
No, as my name's Dennis Den, so
yeah.
Asbo Den.
Asbo Den, yeah. Apologies, Dennis. Asbo Den on Twitter. So get the tweets in there. And again, the website is www.thewrongshapedballs.com. Dennis, it's like I said earlier, it's an absolutely fantastic idea. I do hope that you manage to get over the travel sort of problems. I'd like to keep track of your progress throughout the season if we could.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's any way I can speak to you guys, I would do that while I'm abroad, because I will be taking my laptop.
Yeah.
And what I'll do next time I speak to you, I will get the headset with the speaker on it, so I can actually contact you guys on Skype.
Yeah,
I'd be more than happy to talk to you whenever I'm away and I've got a spare moment. If you're going to be on your podcast, I'd happily join the show.
Yeah,
no problem.
We'd love to do that. Yeah, and if we can't get you on the show live as it happens, if maybe we can arrange something for like a pre-record message where you could just leave a message and then give us an update on how you're getting it, and we'll keep in touch with you on Twitter and see if we can rally the troops and get this snowballing for you and follow you on this amazing journey.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, the more followers, the better, because obviously I want to try and raise money for charity. And I'm also going to be filming it and making a YouTube channel.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I will be putting videos on every day. You know, not just going for the games. It could be in the bar with the fans. I might be singing in a bar with a guitar. I might be going to Mount Rushmore. You know, all the crazy things I'm going to be doing, I will be filming everything and putting it on all of the social media just to get as many people to follow me as I possibly can.
Oh, it's great stuff. Dennis, any links and stuff you've got, just tweet at me and I'll be sure to get them retweeted for you and help to spread the word about this fantastic journey.
Oh, fantastic, mate. I'm so grateful for you and your viewers or your callers' help. You know, I need the help desperately because I can only do so much on my own, and if anybody helps me, I'll be their best friend forever.
Oh, brilliant. Dennis, what we'll do, obviously it's the off-season, it does get a little quiet. We'll get you back on before you set off on your journey to just spark everyone's interest again, just to just ram it down the throats, basically.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to come. I'll come on every week if you want me to.
Oh, I'm down for that. You can come on, you can do some intro songs. I'm down for that. No problem.
I'm up for anything. You set me a task and I'll say yes.
Brilliant. Dennis, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like I say, very envious. I wish you a safe and pleasant journey and we'll rally the troops. Again,
brilliant.
www.thewrongshapedballs.com is the place to go. Appreciate the time, Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon.
And there we have it. That was Dennis there. So hit Dennis up at AZ Bowden on Twitter. He did actually tweet me via at Zone Coverage FS to say that he is listening in. So Dennis is now active on Twitter. So please hit him up at as Bowden. One time I'll get this Twitter handle right. Apologies, Dennis. And again, his website is www.thewrongshapedballs.com. So I spoke to Dennis for about 10 or 15 minutes after that interview ended. Really nice guy, had some good fun. I've sent him a few Twitter handles to go and follow as well, so if we can help spread the word. Going to try and get him back on the show before he heads off on his journey, then hopefully we can sort something out as we discussed and like check in on his progress throughout his journey, see what sort of shenanigans he's been up to. Right then, there's a lot of chat in the chat room today. I've seen a couple of new faces. Martin's obviously a new face in the chat room, and Calvin's just joined the chat room. So welcome aboard, guys. The topic that seems to be going, a lot of discussion about the the NFC South here, and people are asking, do you think it's going to be as bad as last year? Who will win it? For me, I think I've been on record a week or two ago saying that the Panthers will win it for the third season on the bounce. Robert seems to think either the Saints or the Falcons. The Bucs aren't really getting a great deal of luck. And then I forget his name now, Malcolm was it? He said he can't see a team winning over 9 games. So interesting. I also tweeted out via @ZoneCoverageFS about which head coach will have the most victories during his rookie season at the helm, and Dan Quinn seemed to got the most votes there. We had one on Twitter via Neil Dutton at ndutton13. Who else there now? I think it was John in the chat room that said Dan Quinn as well, and I put a few exclamation marks on that. We all tended to agree that it was everyone but poor Jack Del Rio, which then sparks the question, Raiders 5 wins over or under? Spoiler alert, no one said over quite yet. So it's been very, very interesting throughout the course of the show so far. Again, if you want to get in the chat room, there's still time actually. I've got the news to read and a week in words. So we're looking around about 10-15 minutes before we lock this down. Unless you want to phone in, if you've got something you want to say about deflate-gte, LeSean McCoys comments, that my rant top of the show, NFL Shop Europe, anything about these rookies that have coming into the league, new head coaches, anything basically, absolutely anything that you want to discuss, feel free to hit me up. I put a tweet out earlier saying that you could text the show. The wife texted me. so far, Martin and the wife have texted me. The number is 07444 048 266. Again, this is now a mobile number. It's on one of the big networks. So if you've got inclusive minutes and inclusive text, it's going to cost you nothing, basically. If you are phoning from a landline, it's obviously going to cost a lot of money. And from abroad, the best way if you're overseas in the States would be via Skype at TeeceMister. Again, that's TEECE Mister. Lines are open. Just fire away. And we'll see what we can come up with. Just checking in on Twitter. Junaid says he might give us a call. Go for it, Junaid. I've not heard from you for a while. I hope that you are good. Give us a bell, buddy. That'd be nice. So we'll see if we can get Junaid to jump on the phone lines. Let's get to a bit of. I think we should go some NFL news, eh? Oh, my button's not working. NFL news. Right then, first up, the Patriots, they released cornerback Alfonso Dennard. He was the 7th pick back in the 2012 draft. That happened on, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, the Arizona Cardinals, they claimed him off the waivers. During his time with the Pats, he had 29 games. Pats secondary, there's a lot of talk about this Pats secondary. What's going on there? It seems to be very, very depleted. And as Matt said on last week's show, that the Patriots don't tend to draft that well in regards to the secondary. So, plus all this Tom Brady news, who's going to be suspended and all that. The Jimmy Garoppolo show could be vastly approaching. No, my luck is going to pan out and the Jets are going to have to suffer misery for yet another 10-15 years. Joy, joy, joy all the way around. Right then, the Houston Texans, they signed linebacker Whitney Merciless to a new 4-year contract. That was around about $26 million. That happened on Monday, I do believe. And for all you Madden freaks out there, the final 4 was announced for this year's coveted Madden cover. And we have Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski, Cardinals cornerback Patrick Peterson, Giants receiver Odell Beckham Jr., and Steelers wideout Antonio Brown. You just know what's going to happen. Odell Beckham's going to get this. It's a no-brainer, in fairness, isn't it? He's the popular one at the moment, burst on the scene. So I do believe there's a website you can go to and vote for. As organised as I am, I forgot to write that down, but they are your 4 nominees for the Madden cover 2015. Right then. Oh, what else happened this week? Yeah, Cardinals tight end John Carlson. He's retired from the NFL at the age of 30. During his 7 years within the NFL, he's accumulated 200, doing me a disservice there, 2,256 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. He's been plagued with injuries of late, a couple of concussions as well, so you've got to sort of begin to wonder if that's factored into his decision. There's a lot of people now that have there's a lot of research out there for players, and rather than playing on 4 or 5 years and suffering later in life, they are assessing things and maybe just deciding that they want a bit more quality time and a bit more better quality life with their families as well. So all the best to John Colson during his retirement. The Chiefs, they released quarterback Terrell Pryor. I can't remember what day this happened, but I think it was Friday, or Saturday. He's now having a tryout for the Bengals, and he also there's a statement as well. There's a lot of people trying to get him to convert to playing tight end. Not going to happen. He says, I won't play quarterback or nothing. So I just play. Why not just go play tight end? Just give it a crack. We'll see what happens there. Future Hall of Famer Ed Reed, he announced his retirement from the game. Surely one of the greatest free safeties ever to grace the game. 9 Pro Bowls. 5-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, 64 interceptions, which has him 6th all-time, 9 postseason interceptions, which has him tied currently for first in the NFL. One of the best players you could ever watch. Ed Reed, you just see the ball in the air and you're thinking, oh, there's nothing going on here. Ed Reed had just popped from nowhere. It's fantastic. And also his skills at returning an interception. I'm sure he's got the most yards as well, I read somewhere. Absolutely phenomenal player. First ballot Hall of Famer, no question. So Ed Reed, congratulations on an amazing career. I wish him all the best in your future endeavours. Moving on then, Vikings left tackle Matt Khalil. He had surgery on both his knees during the off-season. It was orthoscopic surgery on both knees. That was designed to help. It's more of like a pain relief. It relieves a joint pain. Another retirement, we had Titans linebacker Cameron Wibley. He's retired at the age of 31. He was the 13th overall pick in the 2006 draft by the Cleveland Browns. He had 11 sacks during his rookie year, so he made a bit of a splash, but he's been steady throughout the course of his season. Also spent time with the at Zone Coverage FS. Do feel free to do so. See if we can get Junaid on the line. So we'll see what happens there. A lot of talk still going on about these jerseys. As obviously you can get jerseys wherever you go on the internet. There's a few sites that that gives you away to what they are. But AmericanSportsStore.co.uk. Robert says he goes there and he says that they have some good stuff on the jerseys and that. Martin also comments on the jerseys, says he gets his jerseys via eBay. Obviously, some of them, unfortunately, aren't genuine, but he cannot justify the cost through NFL Europe. Yeah, like 70 quid. It's a lot of money. Oh, Dennis Moss has joined in the chat room there. So Dennis is in the chat room, says, thanks for the interview, Mark. Enjoying the show. Dennis, thank you for joining the chat room. Quite a few newbies in the chat room today. So if you are a newbie in the chat room, do me a favour. Tweet out the links. Tell everyone. You can put me on mute. If I'm annoying the crap out of you and whatever, you don't want to listen to my drivel, fair dues. But there is some really, really good chat going on in the chat room of late. We've been talking about who's going to win the South. We've got rookies. Fantasy-wise, best head coach. We're now on about jerseys, and Dennis has joined the chat room, so that is good stuff. So feel free, again, Spreaker.com, search Zone Coverage Football Show, and just get in there and have some good old general chit-chat. It seems to be the place to be of late. Right then, let's jump back to the news. Where did we get to? Yes, we announced that Cameron Weebly had retired, so the Dallas Cowboys signed La'el Collins. I don't know what the word is for this. Fascinating, intriguing, sad. Probably all of the above when it comes to La'el Collins and what went on. He obviously went undrafted during the draft this year following a Louisiana police investigation into the murder of Brittany Mills. Brittany Mills, she'd had a prior relationship with Collins. She was pregnant at the time of her death, and apparently she gave birth to the baby, but the baby sadly later on died. This all happened in Baton Rouge, and Collins was a suspect. He met with the police on Monday. very, very sad and tragic story. That all aside, and I don't mean to sound a bit awful and sort of brush that under the carpet, but Collins has now gone on to sign with the Dallas Cowboys. He's got a 3-year contract, fully guaranteed $1.7 million, so he will get the opportunity to hit not free agency. He's going to get a new deal contract and 2 years in, so he will get a new deal before all the rest of the rookie class. So he's lost a lot of money first round because he's fouled due to the circumstances and what's gone on, and I don't think he's been absolutely fully cleared of it, but there's been no sort of thing at the moment. Oh, we have a phone call. First ever call via the thing, so let's see if this works. Hello. Hello, who's that? Hello, you're on Zone Coverage Football Show? Hello, oh, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. Hello? Oh dear. Hello? Oh no, the phone's gone. I'm not sure what's going on there. It does seem to be... I don't know what's happening there, but we didn't seem to get any volume there. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but yeah, something happened there with the phone line going in and the phone line going out. So whoever that was, if you could give me a quick ring back, it would be very, very much appreciated. And so Junaid's hopefully going to ring in, so we shall see if we can get that done while I try and fiddle about with some wires. Very, very annoying at the moment. We shall get back to that in a moment. So where were we? Yeah, we're about Leo Collins. Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys have got a scary good O-line at the moment. So hopefully, I'm not sure who that was. The number did pop up, but if you could try and give me a ring back. Failing that, I can hear the buzzing in my speakers. So, hello? Hello, is that Junaid? Hello? This is not good. The phone does not seem to be working. Hello? Hello? This does not seem to be working at all. Hello, is that Junaid? Oh no, you seem to have gone. Never mind, it's not working at all at the moment. The phone line is playing up. I can hear the call, I can hear the person ringing, but nothing. If that is you, Junaid, try on Skype, buddy, it's Tees Mister. I have no idea why this isn't working. It worked the other day. Goddamn technology. Right then, where were we? Let's get back to the news. And the news, the latest one I had was, some bad news regarding rookies and torn ACLs. We had the first one went on, I think it was Friday, that third overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dante Fowler Jr. tore his ACL and will miss his entire rookie season, as did Broncos tight end Jeff Heuerman. I think that happened yesterday, so... some bad news there for the rookies tearing their ACLs. It was Junaid actually on the phone. He says he can't hear anything when he rings that number. That is not good, Junaid. So he's now jumped on Skype. So hopefully Junaid will give me a ring via Skype in the due process. He's here now. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Junaid.
I don't happen.
I have no idea. I'm trying out new technology, much to my annoyment and failure.
I keep it.
Yeah, could you hear me by any chance, out of curiosity?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah, could you hear me? Was the phone line not working at all?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, damn it! I shall keep tabs on that, and I'll look into that. Right then, Junaid, what can I do for, sir?
No, just off season now. Just obviously the draft has just gone over. Just people reflecting, and just training camps are starting to begin.
Yeah,
exciting time.
I was just going to say, very, very exciting. Apart from the news that we've had a couple of rookies tear the ACLs, which hasn't been good, but that aside, you happy with what's happened with the Packers during this off season so far?
Sort of a bit after the. Still a bit wondering what Tim Thompson did.
In what respect? Were you not convinced by your first couple of picks, or?
just thought he went back-to-back cornerbacks. Obviously, their position of need, but he waited to the fourth round to get inside linebacker with the likes of Paul Dawson, Kendricks, one or two other inside linebackers still available for them. And they chose to pass them on.
Yeah, that was a bit of a head scratch for me. I thought you would have taken a linebacker maybe in the second round, but frustrated then.
Yeah, then in the third round they went with Ty Montgomery for wide receiver, but he's really much more kick returner. But we've already got the likes of Randall Cobb, Jeff Janis, Jason Aberdeen, who tore his ACL, he's coming back this season. Then you got Cobb, obviously, and then you got Jordy Nelson and everything. So the pack crowd in wide receiver, and then we take one in the third round. Paul Dawson was sitting there in the third round, which is good value. We sort of chose to pass him on. Then we took one in the fourth round, but he's coming off a season of injuries. So...
Yeah, so it's just one of them. So you're just scratching ahead at the over. What about, say, you don't really do anything in free agency, but you did sign your own, so that's always a good sign because I believe that Cobb turned down more money to stay with the Packers.
G. G.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just the Packers, they went like with linebackers and stuff to the fourth round. Just hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Seems Junaid has been snowed under by calls as we speak. So again, while Junaid is sorting out that second call, if you want to ring in, give it another try. 07444048266. Again, keep tweeting in at the Zone Coverage FS on Twitter.
Just to be. I mean that the Vikings have done that. It's probably my favourite draft in terms of what they've done.
Yeah, I say there's a few teams under the radar. Matt last week he said that like what the Jags had done as well. He was impressed with some of their free agent signings, the undrafted free agents and stuff. So how do you feel your division's going to pan out now? Because the Bears have got to improve, haven't they, from last year? The Vikings are on the rise. The Lions had a very good year. Could have quite easily won the division, in all honesty. Do you think the Lions are maybe going to take a step back? How do you see it panning out? Is it... Because most people have already kissed the Packers into the Super Bowl already, in my eyes.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are probably the most improved team. It's just a matter of now they've got some wide receivers now for Terry Brewer, Mike Wallace. They've drafted one in the first couple of rounds. They got Rudolph at tight end. Obviously, we don't know what the Adrian Peterson situation is at the moment.
Well, he's going to be an angry Adrian Peterson, and we saw what happened when he come off that ACL and he was angry. So if he does something like what he did that year, the whole NFL, not just the North's in for one hell of a torrid time.
Yeah. And their defense has improved, but to me, Chicago is the wild card in all of this. It's just that, obviously, new coaching, everything's changed. And then surely the defense not going to be as bad as it was last year.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, because we've got John Fox over there now, aren't we? Adam Gase is over there as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. And even with the likes of the Lions, you just don't know. Like with the Matthew Stafford and stuff, you're just one of those teams, isn't it?
Yeah, Stafford could be a bit erratic. Plus, you have to factor in that Megatron. He missed a couple of games last year, didn't he? He was hobbling about and stuff.
Only the big one.
Yeah.
369. Yeah, just the Lions are just one of the teams that start off well, and then something happens in the middle of the season for them for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I think it's Thanksgiving dinner. As soon as they have that, they're done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing on Thanksgiving this year against the Bears, so that should be one. That should be a good one to watch.
Yeah,
with the Brett Favre, Brett Favre retirement jersey. Rub it even more into them.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Brett Favre, one of my favourite quarterbacks to watch during the mid-90s and that. He was fantastic.
Yeah, you got Rodgers torture him now, and then they're going to bring back memories of the 90s when Brett Favre did it to them as well.
You've been spoilt. I'm very, very envious of the calibre of quarterback. He just fall one after the other.
No, I think the Jets did pretty good this year in terms of what they've added. Just a matter of what happens at quarterback, isn't it?
Same old stuff. It's the same old.
Same old. You look at the Jags, like you think we can have a good year, and then all of a sudden Dante Fowler gets injured for the year.
Yeah, it's brutal. It was brutal. You don't like to see that, especially the rookies coming out trying to make an impression, especially at the first camp as well. It's rough way to go.
Yeah, and you got the Dallas Cowboys. That offensive line this year, they decided a top 10 pick probably, but as a free agent.
Does not feel that the Cowboys are being arrogant by not taking a running back? Is McFadden the guy? Do you believe that? I can't see that.
He's injured. He always gets injured.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like he's just set the world on fire of late, has he? I don't get why they didn't take a late round pick.
Yeah, there's so many good, decent running backs late. Like they could have got someone, but they decided not to do it. The thing is, McFadden, you might have big holes to run through. It's a matter of can he last the season? Because Marco Murray took a punishment last year.
Yeah,
he did. He took a punishment. McFadden is not that type of player.
Yeah, and it's not just a case of there being big holes there to run through. You've got to be patient as well, aren't you? Patient, wait for the hole, and then burst through the hole as well. McFadden doesn't do that for me.
I mean, he was a third choice for the Raiders last year.
Yeah,
the other things are bad.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. I mean, like the Raiders added some good pieces there, and then I think most teams improved, but you just don't know with the off-season training camp. You always see these big injuries happen out of nowhere, and then team season just go out the window before the start.
Yeah, it's rough, isn't it? Like you say, everyone's full of optimism and hope, and that's not what you need a few days into camp, just to hear news like that. So right then, Junaid, I know we've mentioned the Packers, and most people have kissed them into the Super Bowl from the NFC. What about the AFC? What's your sort of take there? Colts have been mentioned,
the
but
AFC
they
is
seem
really wild. I mean, I like the Patriots. Obviously, you always have to put the Patriots in.
Yeah.
Just because of who the quarterback is and who the coach is. But, I mean, you got the likes of Steelers maybe this year.
Yeah.
Could do a decent job. And then you got the NFC North is wild, always wild. So you got the Ravens possibly there as well. This is always the same teams in the AFC. I mean, the Bengals maybe. The Bills might pull a surprise if they get the quarterback things sorted. Because they got pretty good defense, and to get something out of the quarterback, you just never know. And I sort of like the Dolphins for some reason.
The Dolphins?
I think they might make the step up this year.
Yeah, because they got a nice, good young group of wide receivers there now. Tannehill sort of made the leap last year, and if he does what he did last year again this year with what the weapons he's got, then you never know. Plus, you've got Sue and everyone there, so. It's just Joe.
Philbin's paying for his contract, ain't he?
I was going to.
This is make or break.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch there. I was just going to say, for me, Philbin is the weak link in that team.
Yeah.
I just don't feel Joe Philbin. It doesn't inspire me. But then again, you look back to when he was on about benching Tannehill for the Wembley game, and from then onwards, the Dolphins sort of went. Tannehill improved massively. Obviously, Bill Lazor's offense helped that more than anything, the short passes. But I still believe, I'm trying to give Philbin a bit of credit there, but overall, I do view him as the weak link in the chain.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Chargers, but there's been rift between the Rivers and the GM and stuff, the one that he's going to get a new contract or not. Is that going to play a role during the season?
Yeah, I reckon if the Chargers give Rivers a new contract, all will be forgiven.
Yeah. So the AFC is more predictable. Then you got the Colts, who should win the division.
Yeah, they should, but that O-line, the defense, they still didn't really address the needs, did they? I know they're going to score 70 points, but they're probably going to concede 75 some weeks.
Yeah, and taking Dorsett in the first round was a bit of a question mark for me.
Yeah, big head scratcher. I'm with you on that one. That seems to be one of the biggest sort of like reelies of that first round, doesn't it? It's like, what, do you really need another weapon? I liked what I was seeing from Dante Moncrief last year. Why not have...
Yeah, and then they just signed Andre Johnson as well.
Exactly. I just view it as a wasted pick.
Yeah, and you got Dennis Allen at tight end. They need a linebacker, or they need a defensive line, really. Yeah. Front seven needed to be addressed.
Yeah,
because they couldn't get pass rush. They couldn't get pass rush last year.
No.
And just sort of everything went wrong for them because of that.
Yeah, it did for the Colts. Like you say, they're always all right until they meet the Patriots. And then it's downhill.
Exactly. I mean, like, you look at the 49ers, if you sign for them, you're going to retire, it seems.
The 49ers, it's going to be an interesting year for them. It really is. I just don't know where they're going to go. I'm not... Tom Sula, I mentioned it on last week's show. I feel that Tom Sula's just been dealt a bad hand. I feel he's been set up to fail in my eyes.
Yeah, it seems like they wanted a yes man and they thought this is a perfect choice.
And they feel like that they can do some firing later on in the season when they feel things aren't going to plan. Eric Mangini will be the head coach there by Thanksgiving. I've said that more than once. Mangini, he's a bit of an idiot.
Bring back some memories for some teams.
Yeah, when he was in charge of the Jets, I thought Mangini, he was okay, did a good job, he drafted well. But the issue was that he's just an absolute moron. He didn't deal well with the players and stuff. I do believe he's calmed down a lot now, so that's probably why it's taken him so long.
That season when you started 6-0, I think it was, or 7-0.
Yeah.
With Brett Favre, and then everything just went.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
This
is just a fascinating start to this off season.
Yeah, like you say, there doesn't seem to be an off-season at the moment, doesn't it? The storylines keep coming out as thick and fast, and before you know it, we're 18 Sundays away from it all.
Yeah, so, and then your pre-season will be soon. No, the pre-season, since the draft was over, pre-season stuff was announced. The rookie training camps are open. Everyone keeps interested. Obviously, the squads are much bigger, and everyone wants to know how the draft picks are doing, which ones are going to stay, which ones are going to go. Is that when the Russell Wilson thing happened?
Yes.
He got drafted. And he blew away rookie training camp. And the rumours going about he might get the starting job. And all of a sudden, he won the job.
Yeah, because he had a good pre-season as well. I remember watching Colin Kaepernick as well pre-season. He looked fantastic as well. Are you still there, Janine?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm here, yeah. Just one of those things, isn't it, with how things play out.
Yeah.
I mean, the quarterback situation in Cleveland, what's going to happen there?
Yes.
Is Josh McCown really worth $10 million, whatever they signed him for? Is Johnny Manziel? And then there's rumours of Connor Shaw maybe up for the job. That's just a wild ride in Cleveland.
Yeah,
you feel sorry for the fans, the lawyers, as anything, and you think they're going to make that leap. Then all of a sudden, something else happens.
Yeah, it's long said, isn't it, that the Browns fans are not allowed nice things. That seems to be like a running joke that seems to be coming just more and more reality with every passing year. Like I say, it's a rough ride for those Browns fans. They do stick to the
Rams
team.
look interesting this year with Todd Gurley at quarterback, running back. Sorry, and they signed Nick Fairley, got Michael Brockers, you got. Their defensive line is just ridiculous, beyond belief.
Yeah, plus Fisher, if he doesn't get over the hump this year, he needs double-digit wins up for me, or he's down the road.
Yeah, he's gone as well.
Yeah, there's
some pressure, some coaches. The Dolphins, the Rams are probably the two things.
Yeah.
The two jobs that the pressure.
Yeah, they're definitely got to be the hot jobs, aren't they, going in? Anything else I can do for then, Junaid?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, anything else that you want to discuss?
1 second.
Are you still there? We seem to be having some joyous fun today with technology. Again, folks, are you still there yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Anything else then, Junaid, before we wrap this up?
Nah, I think that's it. I think we've wrapped up everything in 10 minutes. What we could have spoken over a month.
Yeah, that was good going. A quick flirt round to every team.
Yeah, I've been so busy. I've been listening to the show. I've been meaning to call in.
Oh.
I've been running my relative's shop. He's been away on holiday.
Right.
I've been listening to your show, but I haven't had the chance to call in, and now he's finally back. I thought I'd give you a thing today.
I appreciate that, Junaid. It's nice to know that you've been listening, and like I say, you're always welcome to call in. It's an absolute pleasure to chat Packers with you, or NFL in general, to be fair.
I'm sure we'll discuss further once the training camp properly opens, and we'll find out who's on Hard Knocks.
Yes, we will. Yeah, I'll look forward to that.
Okay. Speak to you soon.
All right, Junaid, take care, buddy, and I appreciate the call. Speak to you soon. Cheers. And that was Junaid. We got there in the end. Apologies if the quality did jump up and down a little bit. So, right, just going to jump back in the chat room. It's 3:10 already. Time flies when you're having fun. Right then, John Cartwright asks, he says he needs to post a few of these questions in advance of the next show. Best new head coach, best fantasy rookie, and says that should spark some interesting chat. So if you've got any sort of take on that, hit me up at A Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. You can also email the show if you like. That is, what's the email now? That is azonecoveragefoootballshow@mail.com. I think we rounded off the news. Yes, we did. We mentioned the torn ACLs. One last little thing, really, that I wanted to touch on was Weekend Words. Weekend Words, a couple of quotes from a few players from around the league, just sometimes offers a bit of insight into what's happened, if injury-wise, poor play, or they're generally upset, and so on and so on. So first up comes a quote from Mike Wallace, and I put in my notes, Mike Wallace continues to be delusional. This is what Mike Wallace had to say. He says, "Without a doubt, I am the fastest player in the NFL. If somebody feels foggy about that, we can race. I'm never going to back down from competition. I've run a lot of routes and got a lot of miles on my legs, but I still feel that there's nobody in the NFL who can run with me. I might have slowed down a bit, but I could still run a 4.25. So, yeah, Mike Wallace there. If I hadn't got a bum knee, Mike Wallace, I'd give you a race myself. That seems quite outrageous, but fair dues, not short on confidence, I'll give you that. On next then to Cowboys rookie pass rusher Randy Gregory. He addresses some of the concerns that made him slip into the second round, mainly into like smoking pot and stuff like that. So this is what he had to say. This comes via the Dallas Morning News. Says that's something I'm definitely been working on, something I can definitely fix. I'm 22 years old, but I think I can carry myself really well. And I think I need to carry myself a little better as far as decision making goes. I think a lot of people were getting tied up in the weed, and I think it's just a weed problem. I don't think it's a weed problem. I think it's decision making. I think I'm immature. I'm definitely working on that. I want to prove to everyone wrong, and I want to do it with this team. I think this is the best team I can do it with. And then he went on to say, in regards to marijuana, I haven't touched it. I'm feeling really good. This is a high in itself, to be honest. I'm high on life right now, and I don't want to lose this high. So, some good, encouraging words from Cowboys Randy Gregory there going forward. Obviously, a few issues, hence they slip into the second round. Regarded as like a top 5 talent, according to some experts going into the draft. So obviously it's encouraging news there. He's trying to get his head on straight and work going forward. Right then, this next quote comes from Philadelphia Eagles in regards to it not being a sure thing for Sam Bradford in Philly. This coming after Fowler quarterback Mark Sanchez told CSN of Philly that it's an open competition for the starting job. And this is what Mr. Sanchez had to say. Really, just talking with Coach Kelly and knowing that the opportunity for me to compete for the starting job, that is important to me. There were some other opportunities out there where I didn't want to switch systems again. On a 1-year deal, it's different for maybe a defensive player or an offensive player, especially a quarterback. You've got to learn a whole new language again. I started to feel real comfortable, and I felt like, to be honest, personally, there's some unfinished business we left out there. I know I can play a little bit better than what I did. I know we can get this team into the playoffs. I think we have the talent to do that. So Mark Sanchez very optimistic going forward, and as we know with Sam Bradford, he's really struggled with injuries of late. So open competition in Philly. Who's going to win that job there? Sanchez, he did burst out, didn't he, in Philly? And I did warn you all, Sanchez is the ultimate tease when it comes to quarterbacking. He'll have 3 or 4 really good games at the start, and you'll fall in love, and then he bite you on the rear end. Talking from experience here, and he did do that. Not to disparage Mark Sanchez in any way, that's just the player he is. He has some really good moments, but the bad moments seem to outweigh the really good moments. So, right then, our next quote comes from Brandon Marshall via ESPN 1000, comments he made on Friday in regards to the fact that he could have been a Patriots player. This is what Marshall had to say. I could have played for the Patriots last year. There was an opportunity I could have probably gone there. There could have been a trade before the season. It was my agent and the Chicago Bears. There was a little tension on the contract stuff. I thought I was worth a little bit more. There were a couple of teams that were offering more money, but we never got that far. But there was definitely a possibility with a couple of teams. So he's saying that he could have been with the Pats. I'm curious, who were the other teams after Brandon Marshall? I would imagine it was a long list, in fairness, but I've not heard anything on that going forward. Our last sort of quote or Weekend Words feature comes from Cowboys' Tony Romo, how he feels this O-line will extend his career within the NFL. This is what Romo had to say. When you have a good offensive line like we do, the thought definitely crosses your mind to ensure you do everything possible to play longer than maybe you would have envisioned. Where was that? Yeah, we'll reassess this in a few years. My wife will tell you I'm taking a little bit more long term than maybe I have been. So that last bit doesn't make sense. Must have wrote that down wrong. So anyway, Tony Romo has believes that O-line will extend his career a further 5 years, I've heard. So that's going to be interesting going forward. Let's jump back into the chat room before we wrap this up. I've gone a little over than what I was going to do, but thanks to the call from Junaid. So hopefully I can sort out the call problems. Jot down the number anyway, folks. It is 07444 048 266. The text come through. The phone call, I could hear Junaid. He couldn't hear me, so we'll assess that before the next show. One last thing in the chat room comes from John Cartwright. Over under on Tebow starts for the Eagles this year, setting the line at 0.5. I go under. He doesn't make the final roster. Unless they move that the goal line to the half-yard line or whatever they're proposing to do. We shall see. Folks, it's been an absolute blast today. The chat room has gone wild. I'm loving what's going on in the chat room. Remember, if you are listening via Spreaker and you go to Spreaker.com, search Zone Coverage Football Show, you can still comment once the show is done and dusted. So if you're listening to this via iTunes, Stitcher or SoundCloud, you can just click on the links. It'll bump you. You'll see the comment section. You can read through, agree, disagree. You can still leave a comment there and I'll play catch up with them on the next show. Again, if you want to tweet me throughout the course of the week, you can do that. Is at Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. I said email is, I always forget the email, zonecoveragefoootballshow@mail.com. Again, iTunes, Stitcher and all that, any ratings and stuff that you want to leave, that would be very, very much appreciated. And we were, of course, brought to you again today by the DynastySportsEmpire.com. Whether it's NFL, NBA, NHL or baseball, DynastySports.com has you covered. Visit them online at DynastySportsEmpire.com today or on Twitter at DCSE_, that's not easy to say, DCSE_football to join a startup fantasy league today. So massive thank you to everyone in the chat room today. The questions coming in via Twitter. And again, Dennis Moss doing the Wrong Shaped Balls tour. That is www.wrongshapedballs.com. Yeah, check out his website. Hit him up on Twitter at AzBoden. That is AZBODEN. Dennis Moss. So send some love over to Dennis there. Massive thank you to everyone that's once again tuned in, either live or listen back in the form of a podcast. I'm not overly sure if I'm going to be back next week, but it should be the week after. I will let you know via Twitter, so keep your eyes peeled there at Zone Coverage FS. A few of the new guys in the chat room and everything. Fantastic. So keep spreading the word about the show, and if you're struggling for links or information, hit up the website, which is zonecoveragefootballshow.com. It's been fantastic. Again, thanks for tuning in, and remember, hustle hits and never quit, folks.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Unable to listen live? We've got that covered. Simply search the Zone Coverage Football Show in either iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And don't forget to subscribe. All our shows and details on how to call into the show can be found on the website, www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com.